Mastering Emotional Regulation, 9 Tips for a Balanced Life. Have you ever felt like you were drowning in your emotions, like your feelings were so big, so intense that you didn't know how to handle them? We've all been there. The truth is, we live in a culture that doesn't equip us to deal with difficult feelings. We're taught to avoid them, numb them, or pretend they don't exist. But what if I told you that there's another way? What if I told you that you can learn to navigate your emotions with more ease and grace? That's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to explore the power of emotional regulation and how it can transform your life. Navigating overwhelming feelings can be challenging. Find out why and how to develop emotional regulation skills for a more balanced life. Practice mindfulness meditation. Mindfulness is about waking up to what's happening inside of us without judgment. It's about noticing our thoughts, our feelings, our sensations without getting swept away by them. And one of the most powerful ways to cultivate mindfulness is through meditation. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Meditation? That's not for me. I can't sit still for 5 minutes, let alone 20. Trust me, I get it. But here's the thing about meditation. It's not about emptying your mind, it's about befriending it. It's about creating a space where you can observe your thoughts and feelings without getting lost in them. Master deep breathing techniques. Our breath is our anchor. It's always there, always available to us, even in the midst of chaos. And when we learn to tap into the power of our breath, we tap into a deep well of resilience. Think about it. When you're stressed, what happens to your breath? It gets shallow, right? It's like your body is bracing itself for impact. But when you take a deep breath, a conscious breath, you're sending a message to your nervous system. You're saying, it's okay, we've got this. Practice grounding techniques. Grounding techniques are like an emotional reset button. They help us to come back to the present moment, to connect with our bodies, and to soothe our nervous systems. There are so many different grounding techniques out there, but one of my favorites is the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 method. Find 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. It's a simple practice, but it can be incredibly powerful in moments of overwhelm. Chapter 4. Identify your triggers. Emotional triggers are like emotional landmines. We don't always see them coming, but when we step on one, boom, everything explodes. But here's the good news. Once we start to identify our triggers, we can start to disarm them. And the first step to disarming a trigger is to know what it is. So I encourage you to start paying attention to the things that set you off. What are the people, the places, the situations that tend to push your buttons? Chapter 5. Practice emotional regulation techniques. Emotional regulation isn't about suppressing our emotions or pretending they don't exist. It's about learning to manage them in a way that allows us to show up for our lives with more presence, more authenticity, and more joy. There are so many different emotional regulation techniques out there. It's about finding what works for you. One technique that I find helpful is cognitive reframing. It's about challenging our negative thoughts and replacing them with more balanced ones. Chapter 6. Stay active. Our bodies are not separate from our minds. They're intricately connected. And when we move our bodies, we move our emotions, we release endorphins, we shift our energy, we create space for new possibilities. So find a way to move your body that brings you joy. It could be dancing, swimming, hiking, yoga, whatever lights you up. Chapter 7. Connect with nature. There's something incredibly healing about spending time in nature. It's like nature has this way of reminding us that we're a part of something bigger than ourselves. So find a way to connect with nature in a way that feels good to you. Take a walk in the park, sit under a tree, listen to the birds sing. Let nature work its magic on you. Chapter 8. Practice journaling. Journaling is like having a conversation with yourself on paper. It's a space where you can process your emotions, explore your thoughts, and make sense of your experiences. And the best part is, there's no right or wrong way to do it. Just grab a notebook and start writing. Write about your day, your dreams, your fears, your hopes. Chapter 9. Seek support and professional help. We weren't meant to do this alone. We all need support, especially when it comes to navigating our emotions. So reach out to a trusted friend, family member, therapist or counselor. Talking to someone who gets it, who can hold space for our struggles without judgment, can make all the difference. Remember, asking for help is not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength. Outro, you are not alone. Learning to regulate our emotions is a lifelong journey. There will be ups and downs, twists and turns along the way, but I want you to remember this. You are not alone. We're all in this together, and the more we talk about our struggles, the more we normalize them, the less power they have over us. So be kind to yourself, be patient with yourself, and never ever give up on your journey to emotional well-being. The aim of controlling your emotions isn't to stop feeling them. After all, they're a part of who you are. But with the right tools, you can learn to control your feelings